All right. Hey, Star Warriors. I hope that this live stream is all working right now. So if it is working, just tell me in the comments because I can't tell. It's a little bit delayed on my end. So if you guys can just give me confirmation that you can hear the audio and that the picture is working, that'll be great. So I'll just wait for that. But until then, hey everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Today we are unboxing the Empire Strikes Back January 2017 box. For Smuggler's Bounty by Funko. I'm really excited. It's a mystery box that I haven't really, looked at yet. So it's brand new. And I guess I should just show you the box. It's been a while since I've done one of these, so I'm a little bit out of it right now. But yeah, I'm really excited to open up the Smuggler's Bounty box and then jump into your Q&A section and answer some of your questions and see whatever you guys want to talk about. I'm up for anything. So I guess let's start with the Smuggler's Bounty unboxing portion, as long as the audio is all working. So if the picture looks good and the audio is working, you could just tell me to make sure. I think it is. All right, I'm gonna get jumping into the Owen Skillstat. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, but you just asked if I could read this comment out loud. You said, "Can you read this comment out loud?" There you go. That's only the only question I'm going to answer at the beginning here. Until then, let's open up the Smuggler's Bounty box and check it out. I'm sorry that my mic's in the way. Whew, it's been a long time since I've done one of these, so let's jump into it. Smuggler's Bounty. For this month, we have, for January 2017, the Empire Strikes Back box. And this is probably the biggest, I think it's the biggest Smuggler's Bounty box that we've ever gotten. It's crazy. It's huge. All the other boxes are probably, I don't know, like maybe 3/4 of this size. So yeah, I mean, they all come in different sizes. We've had ones that are long and thin and others that are really tall. So, it's not a huge surprise that they are all different, but this one is gigantic. I'm really surprised with how big this is. But yeah, this is actually, the box arrived in not great condition. It has some like mud smeared on it and it's a little bit banged up, but that's okay because we're not really looking at the box. We're going to be opening it up. But of course, that's Luke Skywalker in his Dagobah training outfit type of situation that you have there. So, all right, I guess let's get into opening it, as long as I can get all my windows arranged here. I'm a little bit disorganized today, unorganized. All right. Okay, so let's just open it up. Just want to make sure I can see your comments so that everything's going well. Perfect. Cool. All right. So let's open it up and see what's inside. Get your knife out. All right. Slide across here. Easy peasy. Okay. It's been a long time doing this. I think that we're over a year now. I think this is I think January was the second box that we got in 2016, and the first box was November in 2015, right before Force Awakens. So it's been a long time doing these videos, but it's been a lot of fun. So let's continue on with the tradition and see what's inside here. As always, the patch and the pin. Check it out, Yoda. And what is this? It's a little Lando Calrissian with the Smuggler's Bounty. Not sure you can see there. It's really bad glare. The Smuggler's Bounty inscription in Orabesh. Wow, that is really terrible glare. Sorry about that. There's Yoda, though. You can read that, I think. Empire Strikes Back, Smuggler's Bounty on the side. And then the Lando pin. I guess I can take it out of its packaging, maybe. It might not be worth it. It's a little pin with Lando Calrissian. Simple stuff. It's fun. Let's open up the actual box and see what the contents are in there. Check it out. Star Wars Rebels. A little I don't know what to call this. A little poster. Don't want to look at what's inside the box yet, but this has like a exclusive. Next month is going to be Rebels themed. Very interesting. Very cool. I'm excited. I haven't really been keeping up with the show, so I don't know if it's been as exciting as season 2 was. So if you guys know, I'd love to hear what you think of the show, but haven't really been watching it. So I'll have to catch up on that to get excited about next month's box. So let's get on to the real contents of the box. And I think I'm going to start out actually because this box is the first box I think that they have been fully advertising what pop is actually inside of the box. Because before it's always been a mystery, like you don't know what you're going to get before you open the box. But this month they were advertising throughout the entire build up to the box being released, what was going to be in the box. So I know which pop we're getting, and looking at this box, it is huge. This is actually pretty surprising. I was not expecting it to be this big. I guess I just wasn't really thinking about it, the proportions of this, but let's take out the pop first because this is pretty incredible. No wonder they needed this giant box. Check it out. It's Han Solo on his Tauntaun. That is crazy. Look at how huge this is. That is so cool. And there you have the Tauntaun popified, and of course Han Solo in his Hoth gear. And it's interesting, he actually has his goggles on the pop, but here his goggles are much more see-through, when here they're not very see-through at all. That's very interesting. But yeah, Smuggler's Bounty exclusive, Han Solo with Tauntaun. That is such an awesome pop. And it's huge. If you look at a normal Smuggler's Bounty box, didn't really think this through. Don't have one on the hand super easily. But if I reach over here, we have the Boba Fett. I think this was the Bounty Hunters box from a few months back. And I think there's probably a box in here. Yes. So if you want to look at size comparison to what most of the boxes look like, this is the IG-88 box. Very, it's compact. It only needs one character, and I have IG-88 here. If I can reach him. All right. You have the IG-88 pop, and he came in this box. But the Tauntaun takes a little more space, so you can see clearly the difference and why we needed this giant box this time instead of the normal-sized regular packaging. That is crazy. Look at the size difference there. Very cool. So exclusive Smuggler's Bounty, and it's looking great too. I'm really excited about this. We'll open this up in a sec, but I want to see what else comes in this month's issue subscription. Okay. So this will go to the side for now, but you can see here that looks amazing, and you have some more pops on the back too. The Yoda pop looks very interesting. Excited about this. They're making so many of these now. It's crazy how many pops are coming out. And Funko is actually a local company near where I live, so it's pretty cool. It's exciting stuff, and I think that they've done a really nice job with this. I'm gonna take it out of the box before I give my full review, though. So very cool. Let's see what else is in the box here. Oh, interesting. So for such a huge box, you'd expect they normally give you a T-shirt, the 2 pops, and something else that's a little special, like some random thing. And here they actually went with, I think are these Star Wars socks? I think they have little Pop Vader and Pop Stormtroopers on them. Are they socks? Is it a hat? They must be socks. Which way is this? Ooh. Interesting. Well, check it out. So first time that Funko has given us Pop socks in one of these Smuggler's Bounty subscriptions. Very interesting. Very cool. That's an interesting design. I find it interesting how they always prefer using their actual pop designs for the characters, the way that they design the actual toys or the bobbleheads, the same way that they would put it on the actual products that they have. So yeah, that's interesting, but very cool. New socks, always good if they're Star Wars themed. For people wondering when the Q&A is and are just tuning in now, it'll be right after I finish opening this box, which is very shortly. So just stay tuned, and we'll get into that. And the last item in this box, very fitting with the Han Solo and Tauntaun, is a little plush Wampa. Oh, that's so nice. Look at that guy. Very cool. Oh, this is awesome. And look at this Star Wars plush. I'm assuming that they sell Star Wars plush somewhere, but this is probably an exclusive to the Empire Strikes Back Funko box. But no, that guy looks awesome. Very soft. He's got little beads in him, kind of like a Beanie Baby. No, very cool. And the terrifying Wampa, kind of a cute version of that, works for me. I mean, it's what the pops are. Funko's pop line. They're very cute, I guess, versions of the Star Wars characters. So look at that. This is a cool box. This is a very unique, different type of box. Clearly, they don't have a T-shirt, which is a little bit strange, out of the ordinary. But I have so many Star Wars T-shirts. I mean, I'm wearing one of my StarGeek shirts that it was just recently up for sale, and I don't think I have enough room to get more Star Wars shirts. So it's maybe not too bad of a thing that they didn't send a T-shirt this time around. But yeah, socks works for me. So very cool. This is a great box. The most different box, I think, out of all of the ones that we've gotten so far. They keep finding new ways to innovate or add something new into the actual experience of opening up these boxes and seeing what you get inside. So I think that's really cool. The Wampa, one last look at that guy. And now, what you've all been waiting for, even though I'm taking so long to build this up and it's really not that big of a deal. The opening of Han and Tauntaun box without breaking it. See, when you're a collector, you're like obsessive about these things. It seems crazy to be so careful with the box, but no. Okay, so let's carefully get this guy out of the box. The plastic for this is huge. There's the empty box. You see it has a little Hoth background. Very nice. And then backside of the plastic. Oh my gosh. Wow. This is so cool. Look at this. It comes on this ice stand, which you can pop right off. Has a little peg for the tail and the feet. And here is the actual figure itself. Look at that. Wow. Oh my gosh, where am I gonna put this? Oh no. My pop shelf is like full up. Oh, what am I gonna do? This is so cool, but I don't know where to put it. Oh no. There's a spot up there for him somewhere. No, but this is so cool. Look at that. They got the Tauntaun design right there, which is very interesting. We don't have that many beasts in the pop Star Wars form, so that's pretty cool. And then Han Solo riding on the Tauntaun and his head's turned. Very nice. Wow, this is really, really cool. No, that's exciting. This is the most different Star Wars pop that I've ever seen. I've never seen a pop like remotely like this. So that's very exciting. Very, very cool. If I can get him onto the pegs, that would be ideal. We'll figure it out later. But no, look at that. That's awesome. That's very, very cool. I mean, I don't have much more to say. It's just a giant Tauntaun pop. I mean, it's just too cool. I don't know. Very new. So yeah, thank you so much to Funko for sending this out to me. Never seen anything like this, and I'm excited to renovate the shelves just to find a place for this guy. So very cool. So that's the Smuggler's Bounty portion of the unboxing. But if you're not interested in Star Wars, don't know why you're here if you're not interested in Star Wars, but if you want to get something like this, but you don't want to collect Star Wars stuff, maybe you're a DC collector, maybe, possibly. They also have this, which is a Legion of Collectors. I don't want to show my address or anything. Legion of Collectors box, which is the exact same thing as Smuggler's Bounty, but it is a DC version. So I'm going to quickly open this up. I'm not a huge DC fan, but they're very nice to send this stuff to me. So I figured it was worth showing for any of the DC fans out there. And then we'll get right into the Q&A section of the video. So just hold off on your questions 1 second. Here's what happens when you open it up. The patch falls out, I guess. Here's the Green Arrow Legion of Collectors patch. And a Swamp Thing little pin there. Cool. And then when you open it up, you get a little flyer, just like the Smuggler's Bounty. This has Superman on it and the stuff that's in the box. Put that to the side. A little Aquaman comic book, looks like. Pop stylized special cover, I think. Yep. Very cool. And then you get a t-shirt, which has... Ooh, who is this? Is this Bat Dog? Ace? I don't know my DC comics or anything like that stuff, so you're gonna have to tell me what this is, but yeah, Bat Dog thing or something. That's cool. T-shirt right there. And then a couple here. Oh, interesting. So here's a pop salt and pepper shakers. That's pretty awesome, actually. You got Batman and Robin old-fashioned style pop salt and pepper shakers. Cool. Very interesting. Very unique. And then one final item is a pop. This is Plastic Man. It's a tall, windy, weird-looking pop right there. So yeah, there you go. That's the Legion of Collectors box. If you're interested in that, it's up with the Funko products too. So you can get Smuggler's Bounty by going to smugglersbounty.com. Yeah, if you're interested in the box, go check it out there. They come bi-monthly. Cool stuff. All right. So let's get into the Q&A section of this video, ending off the unboxing of the Smuggler's Bounty Pop. So I guess I'll just get right into answering your questions. So if you have any questions, send them on your way, and I will try to answer them to the best of my ability. All right, so Devin Kilgore asks, do they have a pop speeder bike? And I am 99% sure that they don't. They don't really do things of this scale very often. And I'd love to see vehicles in pop form, because I think a speeder bike is small enough that you'd be able to, it would be, you know, about the size of the Tauntaun, a little bit longer, but lower to the ground. So, you know, I think this is pretty good. And I'd be interested in seeing a speeder bike, but I'm pretty sure that they don't really have a speeder bike in the works or anything. But I don't know. I haven't really been keeping too much in the way of the news about what they're coming out with, you know, different types of pops and stuff. So I'm not exactly sure. You might want to look it up a little bit, but you know, I'd be really interested in seeing that. So all right, into more in-depth questions. I answer a question and I take 5 minutes to answer the most simple question. Sorry about that. Okay, Sci-Fi Pie asks, StarGeek, if you could be in a Star Wars film, but you would have to play a hateable character like Jar Jar Binks, would you take the role? Absolutely, I would. Would it be, well, if it was Jar Jar, it depends. If it's a new and unique, horrible character, yes, I'd take it. It's just to get the chance to work on a Star Wars movie would be incredible. But I mean, being a terrible character would suck. But you know, you want to be in a Star Wars movie, you have to sometimes take the consequences. You get terrible character, oh well, you're in Star Wars. I mean, I'd take it. But yeah, I don't know. I'd like to play a droid. I'd play a hateable droid. I'd be fine with that. Yeah, interesting question. I never really thought about anything like that. Okay. How old is Mark Hamill? He's 60-something. I can look it up really quick. If you had asked me maybe a couple months ago, I would have known by heart. He is 65. So there you go. 65-year-old Mark Hamill. Looking pretty good, and I'm excited to see what he does in The Force Awakens. He looks like he's pretty fit and ready for the role, so that's exciting. What other films other than Star Wars do you like? Asks Alex Gatehouse. Alex, I think I've talked about this in a few different videos, but if I had to pick one series or one film that is my favorite movie other than Star Wars, because it's Empire Strikes Back, Star Wars, A New Hope, and then Return of the Jedi. Those are my three favorite movies. The question, see, here's the thing. Does Rogue One and Force Awakens, do they beat out my fourth favorite movie, which would be Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indiana Jones? Does it beat out Raiders, Rogue One, or Force Awakens? I don't think so. I think that Raiders is still number 4. But Rogue One is up there too, and then Force Awakens, and then Back to the Future, movies like that. Really great. Yeah, there are a lot of good movies. I just, you know, I focus on Star Wars on the channel because it's easy to keep one franchise and really focus on the franchise and get more in depth with stuff. But yeah, I've talked about my favorite movies other than Star Wars quite a lot, so I'll get on to another question here. Thank you so much for that question, though. Caroline Reese asks, Krister, have you heard the rumor of Hayden Christensen in episode 8? What do you think of this happening if it does? Well, I heard in but when The Force Awakens was coming out, I haven't really been looking at rumors or theories for Episode 8 or anything like that, any of the new movies. Because when I went into Rogue One, I had no idea what the movie was going to be like. I hadn't read anything. I had watched all of the trailers, and that was it. And I had a much more fresh experience going into Rogue One than I did going into The Force Awakens, because I had read so much and I had theorized and I made so many videos on what might The Force Awakens be like, that when I watched The Force Awakens, it was amazing and it was mind-blowing, but I still felt like I kind of knew what was going to happen, or what I had predicted was kind of happening. So going into Rogue One, I went into it with a completely fresh, open mind, not knowing what's going to happen, and I think I enjoyed it more, which is probably one of the main reasons why I liked it more than The Force Awakens. So I haven't been reading anything about Episode 8, so I didn't know that there was a rumor that he might be in Episode 8. But I had heard when The Force Awakens was coming out, because I was reading as much as I could, Star Wars-wise, I had heard that he was possibly going to be in that movie. And I was not happy about it. I mean, I wasn't positive that he was going to be in the movie, or I didn't necessarily believe the rumor that he was going to be in the movie. But my least favorite special edition change is Hayden Christensen's Force Ghost in place of Sebastian Shaw's Force Ghost at the end of Return of the Jedi. And so hearing that Hayden Christensen might be in one of these new movies, the only real way, other than a flashback, which we didn't know that they were going to do flashbacks back then, which they kind of have when, Rey touches the Luke's lightsaber and, go into that flashback kind of ish different world experience. I don't know what to call it. And there's some rumors that Episode 8 might have some flashbacks in it. You never know. But the only way that they could really plausibly put Hayden Christensen as Anakin Skywalker into Episode 8, unless he is an Anakin Skywalker, if he's just like some background character, if he does a cameo role, that's cool. That's, fine with me. As long as it's not too obvious that it's Hayden Christensen. If they make him an alien or robot voice or something, I don't care. But the only way that they could really put Hayden Christensen's Anakin into the movies is if they made him a Force Ghost. And so it's a little bit. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the idea, of having the Force Ghost again, because it would really solidify that. I mean, it's already solidified as canon technically that Hayden Christensen's Anakin is the Force Ghost that they see at the end of Return of the Jedi. But in my mind, you can still see that scene at the end of Return of the Jedi, the original version, and see Sebastian Shaw, and it doesn't really have an impact on the movies. Whether you have Anakin or Sebastian, it's just kind of whatever you prefer. So if they put him in one of the new movies, that kind of gets rid of Sebastian Shaw completely from that Force Ghost scene. So I wouldn't be super happy about that. But if they're gonna go for it. I trust them. That's my main thoughts on that. I rambled so much. Okay, let's go on to another question. Thank you for asking that. Okay. If you had to pick between Luke, Rey, or Anakin, who would you pick? Asks Connor Walsh. It's Luke. There's not really a competition there. Because I grew up with the original trilogy. I grew up with Luke Skywalker as the main hero. And Anakin was, he was fine. I grew up with him too. And Rey, I really liked Rey in The Force Awakens, and I'm excited to see where her character goes. They're all good, but Luke, by far, out of those, by far, it would have to be Luke Skywalker. Yeah. Just for the obvious reasons that, most people have. I mean, it's Luke Skywalker. You can't beat Luke Skywalker when it comes to a popularity contest in that sense. Okay. Nate Does Stuff asks Yaddle or Yoda. Yoda? Because I don't think we really see Yaddle do anything. She sits on the Jedi Council. She's basically the only thing that she's really known for, in the movies at least. I know that there's, she's in comic books and things like that, is sitting and being one of Yoda's species, but sitting on the council. That's basically all she does. So, Yaddle's cool, but Yoda's Yoda. So that's that. Jedi Pikachu asks, did you prefer C-3PO in Force Awakens or Empire? Empire Strikes Back is my favorite movie of all time. I think C-3PO, who is, if you don't know, my favorite character in the movies, which is a weird choice, I know. Yeah, I talk about it in so many different videos. If you want to, like, think about that, go to one of the other C-3PO focused videos. But Empire Strikes Back, C-3PO is at his best in the Empire Strikes Back. He can get annoying in that movie. I think in A New Hope he was perfect. Basically not bickering or in the way enough to the point that he was annoying at any moment in the movie. And he was just kind of fit his role really well in A New Hope. And in The Empire Strikes Back, he has his best scenes in The Empire Strikes Back. C-3PO shines the best in The Empire Strikes Back, but he also has his moments where he can really derail a scene. Like when Han is being put into the carbonite in The Empire Strikes Back, and C-3PO is on Chewbacca's back, and he has to constantly be talking and making commentary. It just kind of ruins the mood. So there are scenes where I think 3PO should have been toned down a little bit. But for the most part, yeah, he's amazing in Empire Strikes Back. He was good in The Force Awakens, but it seemed like they were trying to make him the C-3PO cliche, and it's not a cliche. The C-3PO, they're trying to put everything that you know about C-3PO and like put all the fan service for C-3PO into that movie for that one like minor role that he had. Like he was only there to be C-3PO. He didn't really have a point at all in The Force Awakens. So, he was. I mean, I liked him in The Force Awakens. It's just he was better in the original trilogy and in my favorite movie of all time. So I hope that answers your question. Okay. Do you like Han Solo or Obi-Wan Kenobi better? Asks Devin Kilgore. What do I say usually? I think on my original list I said I liked Han Solo better than Obi-Wan, and it's so tough. It's just so tough. I can't pick. I really can't pick. They're both amazing characters. Pitting two characters against each other is just like hard to choose a favorite in my mind, Yeah, I don't know. Those two are basically tied for me. Because Ewan McGregor's performance as Obi-Wan is amazing. Alec Guinness's performance as Obi-Wan is amazing and iconic. And Han Solo is Han Solo. He's just so cool. I would love to see. Here's the thing, though. If you're thinking about it in movie form, I would much rather see an Obi-Wan movie than a Han Solo movie, because Han Solo, I've talked about this so much before, but Han Solo is Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford is Han Solo. You can't really have Han Solo without Harrison Ford. So I'm not looking forward to this Alden Ehrenreich Han Solo movie that's coming up in a couple of years. I'll give it the benefit of the doubt and I'll see it with an open mind, but not looking forward to that. I would much rather see an Obi-Wan movie with Ewan McGregor playing a slightly older in between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope Obi-Wan Kenobi. But it's hard to pick a favorite character. If it was movies, give me an Obi-Wan movie. Give me an Obi-Wan trilogy. I'm fine with, anything like that. Anyway, fun stuff. Yeah, I can't pick. I'm sorry that question wasn't really answered, but thanks for asking. Okay. Who's your favorite clone trooper? I haven't really, that's asked by Starkiller Studios. I haven't really been thinking about the clone troopers too much lately because I haven't seen Clone Wars in like over a year. Favorite clone trooper, is it I guess it would be Captain Rex. I don't know. I want to make a whole video on the best clone troopers, but the members of the Domino Squad, I can't really pick between them, but I guess it would be Fives or the other names. I can't remember the names of the members, but no, there's so many cool clones in the Clone Wars. I wasn't a huge fan of the clones in the movies because they didn't really have a personality to them. But in the Clone Wars, the cartoon, they had so much character, and they were all just amazing for different ways. So I can't really pick a favorite again. Oh, good. I'm being so great about answering these questions precisely, aren't I? But it's no, there's so many cool clone troopers. What's your favorite clone? That's what I'm interested in. Okay. Let's see. Do you prefer the Clone Wars or Rebels? Clone Wars. I didn't grow up with the Clone Wars, surprisingly, because I'm around the age of the people who would have watched the Clone Wars when it started coming out in 2008. But yeah, I never grew up with it. So I wasn't. I always kind of saw it as like Star Wars, but the cartoon version of Star Wars. So I never really looked into it or thought it would be that interesting. Um, but a couple years ago, because I started the channel StarGeek in March of 2014, and I figured I should probably see what this whole Clone Wars thing is about. And it ended up being amazing. The first 2 seasons, slow and pretty boring, and I didn't like the characters or the stories that much. But it picked up. Season 3 and beyond were incredible. So Rebels, on the other hand, really disliked season 1. Season 2 was great, but not as good as the Clone Wars became. So hopefully Rebels picks up and can kind of take over what the Clone Wars was. And I think for a lot of people it has. So maybe I need to see season 3 before I can really fully judge this. But yeah, no, it's fun stuff. Okay. Tomtastic's Videos asks, how old were you when you first saw Star Wars? I first saw Star Wars when I was 5 years old. It was after kindergarten. I'd come home from school, and my dad brought me down to the basement, and I watched it on the box TVs. Yeah, and it sounds funny because I'm only almost 17 now, but I watched the original Star Wars on like a little box TV in the basement. I sat down in front of it, and he put in the theatrical versions of the movies, and I watched A New Hope, and I loved it, and I can distinctly remember first seeing that movie. I don't really remember seeing Empire Strikes Back. I know that I did. I know that I saw it, A New Hope, Empire, and then Jedi. Excuse me. Time to sponsor my new StarGeek mug, because my throat is a little dry. It tastes so much better coming out of a StarGeek mug, people. I'm telling you, this is amazing stuff. It's magical. I think I have midichlorians in there or something. It's perfect. But what was I talking? Oh yeah. So A New Hope. I watched, or Star Wars, the theatrical version. My throat is so sore. I'm so sorry. Watched A New Hope first, and I loved it so much that the next day I was like, all right, can I see? Is there more? Can I see another one? And so he put me in front of Empire Strikes Back, and I watched that. And then the next day I came back and watched Return of the Jedi, and I loved it, and I wanted more, but there wasn't more. Even though there were the prequels, but I don't think I was shown those until a couple years later, or at least a year later or something like that. But yeah, it was 5, and it's memorable. One of my most distinct memories is Jabba the Hutt. Seeing Jabba the Hutt for the first time, with his like lip smacking. Ooh, that made me hate mac and cheese, because I just saw like mac and cheese as the Jabba the Hutt slime slug thing. So didn't have mac and cheese for a long time because of Jabba the Hutt. But yeah, I was 5 in kindergarten when I first saw Star Wars. Okay. Hey, Callum Murphy, thank you for buying the mug. He says that he has purchased this mug. Thank you very much. It's very cool to see fans who have purchased merchandise. So thank you. All right. Let's see. What other questions do we have? Jacob Hedges asks, do you think Leia will die or be recreated with CGI for episode 8 or beyond? I think that Disney has actually specifically come out recently and said that they won't be recreating Carrie Fisher with CGI because they think it's a little disrespectful, and they have the footage that they need. So I'm glad that they won't be using CGI. I think it was done really, really well in Rogue One, but it just I can't see them like actually having her be a main character with a lot of speaking roles as an all CGI character. I don't think they can do that. So hopefully they'll explain it really well. But I don't know. It's a tough question. It's a really hard situation. But it's I would not like to see a CGI Leia in episode 8. No. And I don't think they will. I think they'll just kind of cut it together so that her death is explained maybe in episode 9, or she'll disappear. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see in the movie. Do you think that R2-D2 and C-3PO should have their own movie? Asks Adrian Dak guy. I hope I pronounced your name right there. Okay, so There are a lot of different things that R2D2 and C3PO had exclusively. And by that I mean there's the Droids cartoon and the Droids comic book series, and they show up all over the place as just them. They're like Star Tours, and they're everywhere. It's R2D2 and C3PO. They're like one of the main faces of Star Wars. So they have a lot going for them already. They had the 85 cartoon, the comic books that came out at that time, and the stories were fun ish, but they were still very childish. And I think that's just because C3PO and R2D2 are supporting characters. They're not really main characters. So having their own like story, their own movie all about just them, I don't think they could do it. I don't think they could pull it off. It's cool. It would be a cool idea, and I'd still see it because, huge Droids fans, C3PO and R2D2. There's a whole section here, and you can't see it, but there's a whole C3PO shelf over here with lots of C3PO stuff all over it. And I actually have a few. I've talked about this so much in the past, but I just love these Droids animation cells. I actually have the actual animation cells, a couple of them that they used in the cartoon itself. So they'd photograph these cells and then they'd put it into the show, and I have a couple here. One of them from the intro, it's really cool stuff. I've done it before, but I just love them too much not to pull them and show them off again. So, 1 second. All right. So here's a C3PO animation cell from the intro to the cartoon Droids. That's that right there. And I really liked the cartoon for a kid's cartoon. I mean, it's Star Wars, so I mean, you gotta love it. But I don't think they could actually pull off a live action C3PO and R2D2 movie. If they did maybe a cartoon version of C3PO and R2D2, that would work. I'd be fine with that. I think they could pull that off and make it for kids. But yeah, no, not a live action movie. I don't think they could do it. Aiden C asks, what lightsaber did I use at the Carrie Fisher vigil? I made a video on my channel for the Carrie Fisher vigil that we had in Seattle a couple weeks ago to remember Carrie Fisher after she had died. And the idea was that you bring your lightsabers and you light up your lightsaber and everyone is there with lights. You should watch the video to get a full idea of what the event was like. But we had a bunch of Force FX lightsabers, and I used the Force FX Obi-Wan Kenobi lightsaber is what I used in the video. But that wasn't actually mine. It was actually borrowed from a good friend, a good Star Wars collecting friend. And he had brought down a bunch of lightsabers that we could borrow. But I do have a Yoda Force FX lightsaber that was also shown in that video. I just wasn't the one carrying it, but I can pick it up really quick here. Yes, Yoda Force FX. It's a much smaller blade. You can actually fit the whole thing in the screen. A regular Force FX, I don't think you could fit in the screen here, but you turn it on, makes a loud lightsaber noise. Pretty cool. But yeah, I think it was a Force FX Obi-Wan Kenobi blade that I used in that video. Thanks for the question. Okay. All right, let's see what this says here. Biggs Wedge, this is Mr. Goggles asking, Biggs, Wedge, Porkins, or Poe? So between all those, Biggs, Wedge, Porkins, or Poe Dameron? Oh, that's a tough question. Okay. I guess it would have to be Biggs. I really like the deleted scenes that he's in. But if you look at the canon, the stuff that's actually shown in the movies, he doesn't do much. So I guess it would be Wedge after that, just because Wedge is so iconic. Well, at least to me, he is as the face of a X-wing pilot. But yeah, it would have to be Biggs. If you watch the deleted scenes for A New Hope, Biggs is a really interesting character. And then I guess it would be Poe, because unfortunately I feel bad for Porkins, but he doesn't do anything in the movie. But everybody loves Porkins, so they all have their own thing going for them. Thank you for that question. Okay. Let's see. StarGeek, what is your favorite scene from all of the Star Wars movies or cartoons? Asks Glenn Kavanagh. Kavanagh? I don't know how to pronounce your last name. I'm really sorry. Thanks for the question. I'm actually in the process of making a full series of videos of every movie and saying the top 10 best scenes from each movie. The last top 10 video that I did was actually the top 10 best scenes from Attack of the Clones. And I've done A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, Phantom Menace, and now Attack of the Clones. The next one's going to be Revenge of the Sith, and then Force Awakens, and then Rogue One after that. So, I mean, I guess I can just say now that my favorite scene of all time is the iconic reveal Vader, I am your father, to Luke from Empire Strikes Back of all the Star Wars movies. But I'm still coming out with more videos about the top 10 best scenes if you want to go check those out at some point. If I had to pick one scene from the cartoons, I guess it would be Ahsoka leaving the Jedi Count. Is it the Jedi Order? That scene at the last episode of season 5. I thought it was a really good episode and a great scene. So, yeah, I haven't seen the Clone Wars in a long time, so I'm not up to date with that stuff. And cartoon, I know you're not talking about droids or Ewoks, but if I had to pick a favorite scene from the droids or Ewoks cartoon, it would be the Great Heap when they're on that in that droid resort and they're like trying to free R2-D2. There's a bunch of fun, stupid stuff in droids that there's to look at. So. Yeah, thanks for that question. Yeah, I don't know what my favorite cartoon scene would be, I guess, but yeah, thank you. Okay. Darth Solo Wookie asks, what are your The Last Jedi predictions? And I don't have a lot. I just made a video about the name, and I talked about a little bit of the origin and the history behind, or not necessarily the origin or the history, but other things that have the same name as The Last Jedi, or places that The Last Jedi could have been taken from. But it's a tough. I don't want to speculate too much is the thing. I have a feeling that the movie's going to start off with Rey being trained by Luke, or at least being led around by Luke. Maybe Luke will refuse to train her because, he messed up all those years ago with Kylo Ren and stuff. But yeah, it's going to start with Rey and Luke kind of getting to know each other. And I'm not sure where the story's going to go. It kind of left off with Kylo Ren and the First Order kind of all in shambles. But I have in that video, I have a mock crawl, which basically just explains what happened in The Force Awakens. But I do have like a mock crawl for what The Last Jedi's opening crawl to the movie might look like. It's not going to be what the crawl is like, but it's just my own idea of what the crawl might look like if you want to go check that out. But yeah, I don't know. I don't want to predict too much because I don't want to speculate about anything. I don't want to make it my head fill my head with all these ideas of what the movie could be like when I'm not going to know for sure. So thank you for that question. Okay, hey StarGeek, what's your favorite Star Wars cartoon series? Asks Potato Gamer 26. Well, Potato Gamer 26, if you haven't noticed, I talk about droids a lot because I really like the old stuff. I really like looking at the Star Wars stuff from the 70s and the 80s, even more so than the more recent stuff, even if the quality of the more recent stuff is much better. The new Marvel series that Marvel is pumping out with all the Star Wars comics, those are some amazing comics. And the vintage stuff, which I have a bunch of right over here, the vintage stuff just isn't nearly as good, but I just love it so much. It's just, I don't know what it is about the old stuff that I enjoy so much, even when it's bad. But yeah, they just have so many classic, like you can just like feel like you're living in the 80s, even though it's 2017. And I just think that's really cool. So my favorite cartoon would probably be Droids. It's the one that I'd probably go back to and watch the most. And I didn't really know about this, but I kind of grew up with the Droids cartoon. They had made DVDs of Droids. Actually, I should have, yeah, right here. They had made these Droids DVDs. Well, this is a cassette tape, but I have the DVD version at some point. Don't know where that is now. But they made these re-edits of the Droids episodes, and they took the Droids episodes that they had aired on ABC, and they like re-edited them, put new music and stuff, and edited some dialogue and scenes, strung them together to make a full series. And this one is The Pirates and the Prince. And it's really cool to think about how I grew up on a 80s cartoon when I was younger, not even knowing that it was a cartoon that kids in the 80s grew up on. But there were really 4 edited, messed with episodes. And then there was another one, The Hunt for the Rune Comets. It's with Mungo Baobab. What is that called? I'm not sure exactly, but Droids had 2 different versions of this in the DVD form. This is the only one that they came out with on VHS tape. So anyway, it's cool, or at least in this this packaging in this edit. So yeah, I love the droid stuff, and there's lots of different stuff to talk about with that, which is why I started a review series of the Droids cartoons. I'm only 2 episodes in because it takes so long to make those. If I make a weekly video and I want the content to kind of stay true to what it was originally like, trying to get a review series, like a 20-minute long review of an episode of a cartoon out at a good pace is kind of difficult without flooding the channel with those episodes, which is also why my Marvel comic book review series, which I'm really excited about, and I love the comic book so much. I'm not even a comic book person, but the Marvel comics, the vintage Marvel comics, are just so cool that I have really wanted to make a full series reviewing all of the comics, but it takes so long to make those episodes, and they don't get a huge response either, because that's not what the channel's really main focus is. So I'm working on the script for episode or the issue number 4 through 6 of the Marvel series, and hopefully I'll continue it from there if it gets more good response. But yeah, they're really fun, and if you haven't read the vintage Marvel stuff, let's see if I pull out a random comic here. Here's one of the Empire Strikes Back comic adaptations from, what year was this from? 1980? Yeah, 1980. I don't know why I'm even thinking that. It's a 1980 comic. That's pretty awesome. And it's just fun stuff. They don't really make a lot of sense most of the time. But it's just about having a fun read, and I want to kind of review some of these. Even in a lot of them have weird quirks. Just so happen to pull out this issue. If you actually look at Chewbacca in the background here, he doesn't have any legs attached to the bottom, which is a little bit strange. And that's just the cover. That's just the cover alone. But this is a really awesome cover. I actually have. I'm going off on such a tangent. I have a metal version of this cover. I don't know why, but I mean, it's cool. Probably should hang it up somewhere at some point. But yeah, no, if you haven't read the Marvel stuff, I've been obsessed with this stuff lately. It goes on and off. The way that I work in the Star Wars world is that I really focus on a certain like type of video or type of media that Star Wars has made. Maybe I'll get like really obsessed with droids for like 2 weeks or something, and then really obsessed with the Marvel comics, and then really obsessed with the collecting stuff, or really obsessed with Clone Wars or Rebels or something like that, the movies, or there are different things that I just like really focus on, and I get like I get so focused on this like one topic in the Star Wars universe that's all I want to talk about. But at the same time, I want to talk about all the other stuff that the channel's built on. It's just it's so much to do. But yeah, I really want to talk more about comics like this, and there's the new series to talk about. There's so much to do. Star Wars video games, whatever you guys are interested in, I'd love to do. But yeah, I have a long list of things on my to-do list. And really quickly, I want to give a shout out to all of the fans who are watching in Europe or wherever it's really late, like the people from Sweden or France and places like that. Thank you so much for tuning in. It means a lot that you're here. It's only 3:18 in Seattle right now. But I know across the world it's very late in some places, so I really appreciate you listening to me rambling and answering your questions. So thank you for that. Let's answer some more questions because I am going so off track here. I don't well, I don't even remember what the question was about that I was answering when I went onto this Marvel Comics tangent. Was it Droid? What was your favorite cartoon? What cartoon did you like the most? I hope I answered that. I think Droids is the answer. I don't know what I'm doing. I always trash my room too with so many collectibles. I'm like pulling them out for the video and then looking around. Their boxes and lightsabers and comic cells and comic books all over around. So anyway, let me answer another question before my mind goes somewhere else. Gungan Hunter 506 asks, will you do a collection tour? Yes. Right now I kind of want to reorganize stuff because I haven't really, I have a lot of new stuff, a lot of cool stuff that I want to focus on. I have some things out here that I haven't even put on the shelves yet. And I want to be able to show it off when it's at its peak, when it's at its best. So I have a lot of reorganizing to do before I show that off. But I guess I can show off one item, or do I want to wait on that? Well, you guys are here now, and you guys are sticking to the live stream. So all the people who are still in the live stream, you get to see a cool collectible that I got. Let me just grab it really quickly. Okay, so this is something that I've wanted for a really long time, and this year for Christmas, my parents got it for me, and it was just it was such a big surprise. It's so awesome, and this is really what I want to kind of have as a centerpiece of the collection over here. And I'm not done answering questions yet. You can keep asking questions. I'll get to them in a minute, but I'm just going off on a tangent like I do with all these things. But they got me this really cool, very unique collectible that I've been really, it's kind of, if you're a C-3PO collector, this is one of the holy grail items that you need to have. That you will be looking for, because it is just so famous for being so weird. Some of you might know what I'm talking about, but yeah, this is what I'm talking about. For those of you who don't know, there is a company called Sigma, or was, I don't know if it's still around, I'm guessing it's not, that made Star Wars ceramics. And one of the most famous things that they made was a really strange C-3PO tape dispenser. And you put the tape on there, and he's like sitting down in this weird position. But yeah, this is one of like the holy grail items for a C-3PO collector, and I have to figure out where I'm gonna put this guy. And there's so much reorganizing of the collection to do before I show it off. So, I do want to do that soon at some point, but there's stuff like this that I have to find a place for before I really get into that. And now I have to put him back, but I will answer questions before I do that. Whew. This is precious, so I want to be careful. Okay, we're good. And it actually came with the original box and the original tag. Really, really cool stuff. So anyway, for a collector, if you're not a collector, you think I'm crazy. But, that's okay. Okay. Darth Malgus asks, hey, StarGeek, I love your channel. I was just wondering what your thoughts on Force Arena are. I'm not sure I've heard of I've heard of Force Arena, but I'm not sure I ever really looked into it. And I honestly can't tell you what it is. Force Arena. I'm interested. Is it a video game? Is it an app? It's an app, right? Yeah. Interesting. What does it do? Lead your squad, master the arena. I guess I could just be asking you. That would be easier. What is Force Arena? Because I'm a little bit confused. Oh, whoa, interesting. Wow. It looks like a big arena where you pit players against each other. Interesting. I might have to check it out. I haven't looked at it, so I can't really give you my thoughts, I guess. But no, that's really cool. Yeah, thanks for pointing that out to me. Interesting. Very cool. Thank you. Okay. Let's see. Darth Jedi 1231214 asks, "Hey StarGeek, do you like/read Wikipedia?" Well, I don't read it like to get information about stuff, really. It's more if it's kind of hard to answer this. Yes, I love Wikipedia. It's a great place to look to. It's just basically a collection of everything that you possibly need to know about Star Wars. But I don't usually look there for my information. I look for more reliable sources. so Wikipedia is a lot of fun when you have something really obscure to look up. A lot of the times I'll be reading in like one of these Marvel comics, and I will just like open it up and see that they had named like a stormtrooper, and they had named the stormtrooper Burl, like a random name. Like, why did they name the stormtrooper Burl? What's the story behind Burl? And you can go onto Wikipedia, and they have all the information you need to know about Burl. It's crazy. Like, it's when you want to like really focus in on an obscure topic and learn all about it. That's when I use Wikipedia. And it's a really cool place. It's a lot of fun to read through. But yeah, I really only use it to look up like the weirdest alien species I possibly have ever read about, or a character that seems really obscure and I want to learn more. So yeah, no, Wikipedia is great. Okay. Flashy Lash asks, what is your favorite lightsaber color? And the answer to that is, I don't know. Green or blue, I guess. Red is cool too. Yellow, purple. The yellow is a vintage Marvel, or not Marvel. Ooh, too much Marvel in one day. Vintage Kenner action figure little quirk that they had. They had yellow lightsabers. There's so much to talk about in the Star Wars universe. But yeah. Oh shoot, what was the question? It was lightsaber color. Yeah, green or blue. People ask me all the time what my favorite type of lightsaber is, and I usually say it's Obi-Wan Kenobi's. But just like, I don't know what type of or what color of lightsaber I'd have. Blue is original and iconic and famous, so I'd probably go blue if I had to pick one. Okay, let's see, where are we? Why the lack of Clone Wars videos, asks Bob Marley. Bob Marley, thank you for coming back to life to ask me this question. So I have made a Clone Wars video in the past, but it had some issues with it. And I want to make a lot more Clone Wars videos because Clone Wars is so interesting, and there's a lot to it, and I didn't watch the whole series for nothing, right? So I need to make something related to Clone Wars, and I don't put Clone Wars into the top 10 lists or anything, because then there's just too much. There's so much Clone Wars and so much Rebels that I'd have to, if I was doing like a top 10 lightsaber duels, I'd have to go through like hundreds of lightsaber duels just to pick one of those. And it's just, I mean, it sounds like I'm being lazy, and I don't want it to come off that way. It's that there's just so much to pick that making a top 10 list out of like 100 different lightsaber duels or 100 different, bounty hunters. Well, I guess I do use Clone Wars and bounty hunters. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing is the real answer, because sometimes it's just based off of canon. I do put Clone Wars into some videos, like my top 10 bounty hunters video. Sometimes it's just based off of whatever's canon. Sometimes it's just based off of the movies. It's a confusing system that if you're ever confused on a video, just ask in the comments and I'll try to clarify what's going on. But yeah, I need to like focus a little more on that. But yeah, I want to do a lot more Clone Wars content. So thanks for reminding me that I need to do that. Okay. So some of the Swedish people in the comments are asking if I speak Swedish, and I speak a little bit. My whole family can speak Swedish, and I can kind of speak a little bit. But I don't really have anything much to say because I'm probably gonna mess up with whatever I say. But my sister's learning it right now. My dad's from Sweden. He actually came here in the 80s to America, or to the US. And my mom's family is from Sweden. So, or half of her family and the other half are Swedish in origin. It's like, my family is so Swedish. Not we're Swedish, but what's the word? I'm at a loss for the word. You know what I mean? We're American, but we're actually, I guess I'm technically a Swedish citizen too. So I'm Swedish too. Never mind. I'm rambling for no reason. Yeah, I'm Swedish and I'm American. Cool stuff. All right, let's go back to this. Michael Tasker asks, how's your C-3PO outfit going? I haven't been working on it too much. I have the pieces here still, and they're basically in the exact same condition from whenever I last showed them off, because there's just been so much going on. But I'll grab them really quickly so you guys can look at that. I've used them in a couple videos, and I haven't painted it or anything. And I don't think the light system is rigged up right now for the eyes. Oh, I don't, maybe it is. But yeah, so I'm trying to get a C-3PO costume going, and it's a lot of work. And it's we're good. Cracking the head would be hilarious on camera, wouldn't it? Yeah, no, it's a lot of work to make a C-3PO mask. So I don't know. I don't even know if I want it to be C-3PO. Maybe I'll make it like a 000 or a K-3PO or something different. But yeah, clearly it hasn't been painted. Needs a little bit more work done to it. And this is just the front. Here's the back of the head, and it attaches. And I can wear it. It's just so much of a process that I'm not going to do it right now on camera. And it's almost time to wrap up too. So I want to get back to answering questions instead of focusing on trying to get a C-3PO mask on. So yeah, I haven't gotten very far with it, but it's fun, and I want to do more. So okay, let's see. Okay. Who's your favorite Star Wars character besides C-3PO, asks Potato Gamer 26. It would be Darth Vader. I think it would have to be Darth Vader. There's just no competition. The whole story is basically about Darth Vader, so that's how you answer that. Okay. Fives Clone Trooper asks StarGeek, what's your favorite Clone Trooper? It's obviously Fives. Fives, don't worry about it. You're by far the best Clone Trooper to ever live. So, you know, you're great, Fives. Thank you so much for asking. Solo Jedi asks, do I watch Doctor Who? I used to a little bit, but haven't in a long time. No. That's okay. I'm not a huge sci-fi fan, and I haven't watched Doctor Who in a really, really long time. But yeah, I might want to get back into that. It's fun stuff. Okay. Do you have any other obsessions besides Star Wars? Not anywhere near this scale, clearly. But I get, like I was saying earlier, I get like really obsessed with one topic of Star Wars. It happens with other stuff too. I can get obsessed with like Indiana Jones. A few months ago, I had like a week or two where I was like Indiana Jones everything. I watched like tons of behind the scenes videos and stuff like that. Instead of with Star Wars, it's more like I'm going to focus on the Star Wars read-along books for a week, or listen to the Star Wars radio drama and get that out of the way, or watch the cartoons for a few months. It's different stuff like that, you know? I guess the Killers, the band The Killers, I was, for a while, I was like, only listen to the Killers music. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really have like an obsession that way. So other than Star Wars. So yeah, nothing nearly this big. Okay, let's see. What's your favorite Star Wars action figure? My favorite Star Wars action figure. I don't really have one, I guess. That is such a tough question. I'm trying to look around and see what we got here. Star Wars action figure. I mean, they're vintage ones here. I don't know. That's such a tough question. Why would you do this to me? I guess I'll pick the new Black Series C-3PO. That's a pretty awesome action figure. He looks fantastic. So that's an exciting one. But yeah, I don't really have a favorite Star Wars action figure, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. That's a really tough question. There's so many. Okay. Do you believe that Ewan McGregor will be in Episode 8? Asks Star Words. Maybe. I don't know. I haven't been reading Episode 8 stuff, so it's a tough question. I think it would be cool if he showed up as a Force ghost or in a flashback scene like he was in The Force Awakens. Yeah, Ewan McGregor I want more in the movies a little bit more. So, you know, wherever you can get Ewan McGregor works for me. What are your opinions on sand? Asks the Nexu. You know, I don't really like sand. It's kind of coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere. So, you know, unlike you, Nexu, obviously, you're perfect. Brilliant. So, you know, yeah, sand, not a huge fan. Okay, who's your favorite character from The Force Awakens? Asks X-Girl Games. My favorite character from The Force Awakens, new character, it would have to be either BB-8 or Rey. They're both really good characters, so that's fun stuff. Okay, Favorite puppet from the Star Wars series? What an interesting question. That's I've never really thought about that. I guess it would be Yoda. I don't know why I'm looking around my room for puppets. Yeah, Yoda. It would have to be Yoda as the best Star Wars puppet. I mean, he's really the only main puppet in the movies, isn't he? For the most part. I mean, other puppets are used, Jabba the Hutt and stuff like that, but yeah, it would have to be Yoda. Yoda. What's your favorite Star Wars video game? I don't watch a lot of Star Wars video games, honestly. Or I don't play a lot of Star Wars video games. But I've watched a lot of Star Wars Galaxies. That was another one of like the weird obsessions for like a week. Star Wars Galaxies. I've never played it in my life. I never even tried to experience it when it was still around. It's closed down now, but they have some resurgent new servers that are up that you can play if you download a certain thing. I kind of want to play it really because it looks really interesting. But I've watched a bunch of videos on Star Wars Galaxies. I've never played it, so I can't say it's my favorite, but it looks like it would be awesome. The Star Wars SNES games I really like. Battlefront's fun. There's a lot of different stuff. Who do you think The Last Jedi is? I think it's Luke Skywalker. I have a whole video on that. You can go check that out. But I'm not 100% sure. It could be plural Jedi. You never know. We'll see in a little while. Have you seen Star Wars Robot Chicken at all? I want to make a video. I've done a few videos like what is blah blah blah. What is Star Wars? I've done a few different videos where I look at a certain fan edit or a parody or something like that of Star Wars and I explain what it is. And I wanted to do that with Robot Chicken because I love those when I first saw them a few years ago. Those are hilarious. So I'd love to talk more about Robot Chicken Star Wars. Yes. I'm trying to go quickly because I want to get more questions answered, but it's already been an hour, so I want to keep this going. Okay. Imperial Army or Republic? Well, they're kind of the same. They're not the same thing, but right? Imperial Army would be the stormtroopers and stuff, right? I don't really focus on the lingo too much. But Imperial Army and Republic kind of became the Imperial Army, didn't it? So I guess they're the same for me. I like the Empire more than the Republic, I guess, just because I grew up with the original trilogy. So, Rebels or Empire? Yeah, I'd probably say, oh shoot, I guess I'd say Empire, which sounds bad. The Rebels I like. Oh, that's such a tough question. If I had to pick between choosing a side, Rebels or Empire, I'd totally go with Empire just because as long as I didn't know the outcome of the actual war, knowing that the Empire does lose in the end, I feel like I'd just kind of conform to the rules and just go with the Empire, which sounds bad, but I doubt I'd risk being a rebel. So, they're both good, different reasons. Do you like potatoes? Asks Gaming Central. What a strange question. Yeah, sure. Yeah, potatoes are good in all its form. All different forms that potatoes take. Yes, they are amazing. Yes. Light side or dark side? Asks Lady Wrathstone. Light side? I don't know. It's so tough. These different factions that you have to choose between are just so difficult. But yeah, I guess light side. More people there. Darth Vader's awesome, but there are more favorites from the light side. Okay. Noah Whale asks, do you like me? Noah, you're the best. You're my favorite fan by far. All the rest of them are great, but Noah, you're number one. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Do you like Scout Troopers? Asks Young Luke 23. Yes, I love Scout Troopers. Scout Troopers are probably my favorite, as long as I don't knock everything over here. My favorite type of stormtrooper or trooper of any kind. So no, love Scout Troopers. Yeah, they're really awesome, fun stuff. Okay, what's your favorite Star Wars prequel? That will be Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Darth Something asks, what about me? You're great too, Darth Something. You can be number 2. I don't know, or you could tie with Noah. It's tough. Noah's just too great. It's a tough question. I don't know. I love all my fans. Who am I joking? It's different, everyone is great. I don't want to continue with that joke for too much longer, or else it's going to be too much to deal with. It's about time to wrap it up. I guess I'll answer one last question. What's your favorite Star Wars species? Ithorian, that is Hammerhead. Do I have a Hammerhead? Yes. Vintage action figure, a vintage Kenner here. Ithorians, love Ithorians. Those are great. Also, Rhodians are cool too. There are tons of different fun stuff, but I really need to wrap it up here. I went 10 minutes over time. So thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching the unboxing of the Smuggler's Bounty mystery box for January 2017, The Empire Strikes Back, and listening to me ramble on and answer your questions. I like to do this another time, and the best times to do these are always with the unboxings, but if you guys enjoy the question and answer more, I'm fine just doing an exclusive question and answer only video. So if you guys want more Q&As, I can maybe do them more often, but yeah, because doing one every 2 months is a little bit, you know, it's maybe not quite common enough for all the people who want to ask questions. But, you know, so thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the video. That's about it for me. I got to wrap it up. There's so much to talk about, so much to say. But there's a lot more to say, a lot more videos coming out. What do I want to say? Make sure that you read the Star Wars Marvel vintage stuff and get all the Star Wars craze that you can out of life, because there's a lot to see. So, all right, thank you guys so much for watching. I've said that 4 times now. I'm so bad at ending off these live streams because I don't want them to end. No, it's so fun doing these live streams with you guys and answering your questions. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will see you next time in a galaxy far, far away. All right, thank you.